want to welcome everybody, and we'll forgo the flag salute this evening again. Call the meeting to order. Being no comment period, let's go to the consent agenda, which are the minutes from the previous meeting, the appropriations, Lake Cabins transfer for C1 and D1, and a liquor license for the Santa Fe Liquor Store. Do I hear a motion?
I move the consent agenda be passed as presented.
Okay.
I second. This is Mark Barner.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. I'm going to go down the list like I do. I change your names every week, so listen up here. Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks.
Yes.
Okay. Chris Thomas.
Yes.
Larry Segrist is absent. Sharon Hahn.
Yes.
Mark Berner.
Yes.
And Keith Wessel.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, we'll go to old business parks and recreation update. Justin.
Okay, I was wanted to go ahead and give an update as far as the things that we're working on in the recreation department in the event that the governor allows us to phase out towards the end of June, first part of July. And what we have detailed out was a breakdown of each individual age group with the younger kids all the way up to the 18 and unders. And based on numbers that we had last year, I went ahead and started contacting some, just preliminary stages of contacting some former high school softball players and high school baseball players, former coaches that were in and around the Council Grove area, and also kind of commandeered a couple kids who have contact with college baseball players and softball players. And right now, currently, between the girls who focus on softball and boys focus on baseball, I have just shy of 25 people that are willing to come in and help run the camp and the clinic. My plan is to try to do at least 8 sessions. So, for example, the boys would be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, girls on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we utilize all of the fields over there from probably 6:30 in the evening to 9 o'clock at night, and give them a whole bunch of individual instruction based on the people that I have committed to coming. I'm very, very excited. They seem very excited to be a part of the clinic, and what we'd like to do is just make it a camp day as well, where we hand out awards, give the kids an opportunity to have a shirt, keep the cost very minimal, just try to keep kids as active as possible. And just some numbers for the council. Last year, we had over 250 kids from T-ball up to 18 and unders that participated. And even if we got, say, 75% of the participation back, we'd have approximately about 160 to 170 kids that possibly could participate if we did 75%, and obviously be able to cover our costs for the shirt and those type of things. But like I say, I'm very excited and that I've got that kind of feedback from the area adults to be able to come back and help. So.
My question.
Yeah, are there any questions from that council on this?
I think it sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Justin, have you had any opportunity to, and I know you've been working hard on that, I appreciate that, but to think of other activities for the kids that don't play ball?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There was, beyond that, Amy Liff, my assistant, has been working on non-competitive activities over there. I know that one thing that she was looking at was scavenger hunts, as long as everything's free and clear to go. Also, I know that there have been, we were doing some cleaning and rearranging, and we've probably about 10 to 12 years ago, we purchased a whole bunch of art supplies. And I know that it'd be a neat opportunity to get those out, break those out again, just because obviously with them not having school, probably having a whole, I know that my younger daughter had some art stuff that she was responsible for. But those smart activities, another thing that we've been working on as well. And then actually had some people contact me about doing some sand volleyball as well. And then we just got the new horseshoe pits over there for some adult activities as well. So
Okay, well,
we have a long list, and I apologize, I don't have it with me, but yeah.
that's okay. I just know that, you know, there are kids that have, that it would be nice to have other activities for the kids.
Absolutely.
Not just kids who play golf, so,
Absolutely.
okay, very good. Any other questions, anyone? Anything to add?
Yeah, so I think most of you may have seen the governor has kind of changed what she's allowing to be open and what not. She moved it to phase 2.0 with some exceptions. One of the exceptions is that the pool has to remain closed. With that, we can open up the recreational facilities. Justin's working on it, already has a plan laid out for that. And that can start as soon as Monday, but I'm working on getting signs made to put over there about social distancing and sanitation and all that at the request of the league to mitigate liability issues that may occur. So Rick at Redbud is getting some signs made. We're hoping to have those done by Friday. He's hoping it may or may not happen. The latest would be probably Tuesday.
So that would be after Memorial Day then.
Yes, it'd be the 23rd.
So the playground equipment will not be available until after.
Yeah,
Memorial
he's
Day.
hoping that if they're done on Friday, he's gonna let me know, and then I'm gonna send somebody to go get it.
Okay,
So we can open it hopefully Friday, and so people can use it all weekend.
okay. Because that would include the picnic areas.
Those are open.
Those are okay.
Those are open.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, the league and CDC all say you have to have the sign, and so did, the Morris County Health Officer, she said you have to have these signs posted.
For the play equipment.
Yes,
So
and, yeah, and it would be the same thing for the ball and stuff.
Okay, but
Well,
not the picnic areas. Okay,
Nope, those have been open.
okay. I didn't know if the, you know, the areas were opened or not.
Yeah, they have.
Okay, good, okay. Anybody got any? Yes?
Is this for what, the playgrounds over at the swimming pool park and on the Riverwalk?
All the parks in town would be open once we get the sign.
Okay.
What about the ones at the school ground? Do they mark those?
School.
School playground.
The elementary school. She's talking about.
School property, that's not city.
Yeah,
Yeah, we would mark those because that's school property.
Yeah.
okay.
This is Councilman Brooks. I have a question on the signs. It'd be nice to have them up before Memorial Weekend. If he can't have them ready, what's the possibilities of us creating some and laminating them temporarily and putting them up so that the facilities can be used?
We can do that, Mark. I don't see a problem doing that. Do you, Justin?
No.
So I'll know Friday for sure, morning, if they're gonna be done or not, and if not, Justin and Amy can get out their art supplies that they have and create some signs.
He'll probably have a mock-up of the sign. But we probably have the,
I have the wording. I have an email that has the wording on it. And I can do that.
Just because if we could print them and laminate, that'd be better than using.
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say, they'll recognize. If we could just make a copy of what they're going to make.
Yep.
Then we can just run them to the copier and,
Yeah, that'd be
You
good.
know.
We can do that for sure.
okay,
So
all right. Okay, then, moving on, let's go,
we're talking about the pool.
do you want to do that now or in governing body?
Oh, we can do it now as part of rec.
Okay, let's go ahead and approach the subject of the swimming pool. We said we would talk about it at this meeting. I have looked at the requirements that we have, and they are very stringent. I'm not certain that we can do what is needing to be done. I know we talked about it at length last time, and I really think that we probably are going to have to be making a decision pretty quick. And since we said we'd visit with it about it at this meeting, I think we probably should. Justin, you can kind of tell us what you found as far as equipment to meet compliances?
Correct. Just kind of a brief overview. In the event that we were to open the facility, depending upon what phase it would be in, I know that Nick had mentioned that in phase 3, it goes to 45. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So for example, if we decide to open during phase 3 of 45, the 45 actually includes all the staff and the patrons in the pool. And within that, each and every time that someone would use a high or be in contact with the high touch area, they're recommending that someone be staffed to be the disinfectant person and basically a police type person to make sure that everybody's social distancing. And also they would be responsible for cleaning. And based on the way that our pool is set up, we'd actually have to have one person stationed on the east side of the concrete slab in the middle and someone on the west side in the swim lane area to be able to police both areas. They're also recommending the, lack of a better way to say it, the plexiglass in front of the admissions area. A whole bunch of different areas would have to be taped off. It's kind of like they have at our local grocery store. And then each staff member would have to have a mask. They're still requiring the lifeguards to have a waterproof mask. And then also, I can't remember the square footage, but
It's 36.
30, okay.
There's 36 in the pool. It's 36 foot around the person for the social distancing.
And then, but the square footage of the pool, it's the number of hand sanitizing stations based on the total number of square footage. And so the hand sanitizing stations would have to be installed, plus all the other cleaning supplies that we need. And again, we're still kind of stuck where we were the last time as far as getting all of those materials. So other than gloves and mixing up some hands or some sanitizing solution to clean off doorknobs and stuff like that, we're still lacking at least 50 to 60% of the cleaning stuff that we need in order to open during that time. And it's still end of June, first part of July, maybe, for those supplies to come in.
Yeah. And the other piece of this that no one likes to talk about is that you move to phase 3 with 45 people and you have 15 to 20 employees over there. I mean, you don't even start to pay the wages for those people just to be there. So that's something we need to take into consideration. Is I know no one likes to talk about the funding piece of it, but the pool loses about $50,000 to $55,000 a year, and then you add in all these extra costs associated with it. You're going to lose a lot more than that. So
I really think that we maybe, and I want you guys all to chime in on this. I think we need to maybe bring this to a vote tonight and make a decision. Because we have so many people asking about it. I know that other communities around us are voting and deciding what they're doing.
Chase County closed theirs.
Yeah, I saw Chase County did not decide to open theirs. They decided to keep theirs closed. Emporia has not made that decision yet.
Emporia said it would be July if they did, depending on the number of cases they have at that time.
And so, yes.
This is Keith. I think that, and this is my personal opinion, that I think the email that we looked at today is about the best summary of the situation all of us are in. And I think in light of all the restrictions and the further we get into the summer and all the other things that come into play and with the new development with the children becoming sick and all the unknowns, I'm in favor of just saying that we probably err on the side of caution and close it for this year.
Does anybody else have anything to say about that?
Yeah, this is Chris. I'll echo. I think it was last meeting Mark Brooks actually said, right? I mean, it's really a lose-lose situation in that, right? I mean, I'm empathetic. I've got 2 little kids that we want to be there at the pool. but we also have to think the bigger, greater good. And I don't see a path to navigate it that there be any reason or any chance to open the pool and have it be successful.
So, Mark Brooks, do you have anything specific to say? I know that you were concerned about, I mean, we're all concerned.
Well, you know, we just need to make sure that we've done our homework and, you know, make sure that we've, you know, crossed all the T's and dotted the I's. Justin mentioned about the supplies, but didn't say whether he was able to find any of those supplies, or, you know, we're going to have to answer these questions. And I want to know if he was able to find the waterproof mask and things like that.
A lot of that stuff, Mark, is back ordered till the end of June, early July. The hand sanitizing stations is July, end of June, end of July. The waterproof mask, Justin was actually able to find them. Same scenario, end of June, early July before he could get those. And then Lysol and sanitation wipes and stuff like that. Those are regardless of who you are. I know the hospitals are in trouble getting that stuff. So.
And then the second question I would ask, so that I can answer to the citizens, is what was the response to the lifeguards as far as how many were going to be able to do it or wanted to do it? Where were we at on that?
Meaning their comfort level of being in the facility?
Well, I guess one, how many certified lifeguards did we have that could have just went to work immediately? Two, did we have enough that even if we could train them, would we have been able to do it?
You've lost some to other jobs.
Right, we did lose some to other jobs, but right now returning, we would have approximately 10 that would be trained and ready to go, but none of which would be WSI certified. You have to have the certification to teach swimming lessons. None of them actually have that. So I would say about half would be ready to go, and the other half would have to be trained.
So 5 and 5.
Well, no,
Okay.
We had about 20 kids, 10 or 11 are ready to go. The other 10 would have to be
Okay.
trained.
But some of those have taken other jobs too.
Correct.
So it's not 20.
Right.
Okay.
This is my opinion on it here is as much as I hate to say it, you know, I don't see a way that we can do it. If the council votes not to open, I think it's very, very important that we get the facts out to the public, exactly what we're discussing here. You know, all the reasons why, you know, it's not just because we're cautioning on, you know, the safe side. There are lots of other reasons too. And I think it's important that we get those facts out to the public.
Agreed. The mayor and I spoke today, and we're going to come up with something to put in the paper if and when we decide what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think like I said, and like I just talked to Justin, that's what's concerning me, is that if we take the pool away from some kids, some of the kids are ball players and swimmers. There's no problem there, but yeah, there's no problem there. They're getting their ball taken away from them, but we are trying to give them something to look forward to. But the kids that just swim and don't play ball, I just want to make sure that later in the season, we have something available for them to look forward to, you know, because that, after all, is part of their summer. And, you know, I know that I've got many things taken away from them already. So,
yeah, I agree, Mayor. And then the thing that the back of my mind that I keep, you know, just like what happened today, you know, the governor opening up it more and more. And I'm just worried that, you know, in 20, 30 days, will the CDC completely do a complete switch and say, hey, it's all, you know, it's on. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. And we're standing here with our mouths open, nothing that we can do. That's my biggest concern.
I understand that. That's my concern as well, Mark. And one thing about it, just a little inner thing here, is you know, this year so far, the weather hasn't been really warm enough to, you know.
Yeah,
it's been a kind of a year this year, but, and so we don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen there either, but I'm with you, I hate to, but we have done quite a bit of diligence, we've done our due diligence, researching, checking, I was determined that we really ought to try to open it at any, not even looking at the expense, but just, that we should do it, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be feasible. And I think the people in the town, consider the safety factor and that, we're trying to do the best we can. I think they will understand. They might not be happy, but they'll understand, I guess I should say. So anyway, so anybody else have anything to say?
I
Sarah?
think, yes, well, I was referring back to that email that we all saw earlier from the gentleman in Tonganoxie, explaining why they had to close there. And the thing, and we've talked about this before too, but the whole legality of if one child got sick, seriously ill because we had that open, it's just one too many. And we can't protect everybody, I know, but at the same time, it is something under our control, and I think we have to be responsible for it.
All right, that's, and just as Nick and I were talking about today, little kids, it's really hard with little kids. You can't tell them, you can go swimming, but you can't get close to your friends. You can't touch each other. You can't play tag. You can't, share your hot dog or your candy bar. That's just almost impossible. So,
one last thing, I have heard some parents say, well, if it was open, they wouldn't send their child because they would be afraid to. And if we take this stand and close it on our own, at least we take that off of them. They don't have to be one who tells their child they can't go. So we can be the bad guy on it.
that's true. So, anybody else have anything? Well, that be all being said, can I hear a motion about the dual bid, please? Nobody want to be the bad guy?
I'll take it. This is Keith. I make a motion that I think it's very important, like Mark pointed out, and Mayor Deb said, we need to make sure that we do something in the paper to explain that it was taken, was investigated very seriously and that we all took it very serious. But I make a motion that we leave the pool closed for this season.
This is Chris. I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to leave the pool closed this year due to COVID and the that it all stems from. Okay, Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks.
I'm here.
Yes
I
or
will-
no?
I will hesitantly vote yes.
Okay, thank you. Chris,
Yes.
Larry didn't come on, did he?
No, he's not gonna be, he's not gonna be at the meeting.
Okay, Sharon Hahn,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Keith Wessel.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. We're sorry, kiddos. We'll try to find something fun for you to do, okay? Okay, very good. I got a couple ideas too, so I'll get with you.
You can go.
What's that?
You can go.
You can go if you like. Okay.
Then Jesse might present.
Next is Washunga Days, and Jesse here? Okay, Jesse, we're ready for you for Washunga Day report update.
Sure. What questions do you have?
Well, I understand that you're moving it to, at this point, to October 17th,
Correct.
and it's just going to be possibly a one-day event at this time? Or has that been decided yet?
Well,
I think that's tentatively the plan, but probably to be determined.
Do you guys have a list of like activities that you're still planning on having, Jesse?
Not a finalized list, no. So part of the challenge is that with all these events being canceled, basically everyone in North America and worldwide is shoving 6 or 8 months worth of festivals into 3 months. And prior bookings obviously would take precedence. So trying to find who's available and what services are available. It's challenging. So that's what we're working through now. We don't really have, I mean, the plan is to continue on as a normal Washunga Days Saturday, but if you're asking me today, what's the schedule? I can't tell you that.
Sure. And you have kind of just told people that the buttons I've seen in the Facebook posts and different things, the buttons that people have already purchased will just be used for that day, right? I mean, they're still good for
Yes.
the new day. Okay. What other questions does the council have? Does the council have any questions about it? Well, somebody told me that it could be Washunga Days Oktoberfest, so I think people are understanding and still looking forward to it. We appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Is there anything you need from us at this time?
Not that I know of. No, just continued support, and things will be different this year, obviously, but might have to be flexible on timelines and stuff like that. But I think we have a good relationship with the city, and we don't anticipate that to change. So we'll keep you in the loop as we learn more, but don't hesitate to reach out to Diane, myself, Deidre, whoever else, Jason, Nathan, whoever else is on the committee. If you have any questions.
Okay.
Councilman, this is Councilman Brooks. Councilman Hahn, can you give us an update on your conversation with the Kaw Nation? Washunga Days was really founded around the Kansas Nation. I know you've been in contact.
Yes, after the committee decided to try to move it to the October date, I made contact with Kaw Nation, and it took some time for them to converse on their end. But the result is that they're not going to be coming. They were having trouble finding drummers and singers as well as head staff that are willing to commit to that. And I suspect that it's kind of the uncertainty of whether things will be open much. I'm not sure. But anyway, they have declined to come this year in October.
Okay.
That's disappointing, but thank you for that.
Yes, it is. And I don't know, actually, they didn't respond. They have a powwow down there the first weekend in August. And I don't know if they're going ahead with that either. So it's just kind of uncertain. So,
and things.
I was just gonna say, I'm this is not just to promise anything at all, but it might be that we get later on in the year that might be able to change a little bit. I don't know. But at this point, she just couldn't get the commitment of the drummers and singers and head staff to be able to do it.
Well, that's understandable. And that was exactly what I was going to say is, things might change depending on the circumstances, when we get. So.
Hey, I have a question. It might be for Nick. This is Chris, but while Jesse's here, with the pushback of Washunga Days, is there a chance that the amphitheater is ready? Is there timing on that? And you may not have that on hand, but I was just curious because I know as part of that committee, we didn't think the June date was going to line up, but now that we're pushing back, I'm just curious if that may be a crown jewel or something to show off in the fall.
I would probably say no. Right now, we're working towards that, but it just kind of depends. Jeff Blosser is kind of doing the work when he's able to on the weekends. So it's not a dedicated person that's working around the clock on it. So we're making good progress on it. But there's a lot to be done still. So
We've had a lot of
Yeah,
water.
just curious.
yeah, if it would stop raining, that would help too.
Yes.
So, does anybody else have any questions for Jesse? Jesse, we appreciate you coming and giving us an update. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's
Thank
move
you
on.
guys for all the support, and we'll keep you updated.
Okay, great. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jesse. This is Iverson's stuff.
Okay, the adoption of all this.
He's the one that wrote them, so. I
Okay.
think.
Steve Iverson, are you on?
He is on.
Okay. We're gonna go into adoption of the new building codes at this point.
Steve, do you want to go through each one of these on explain them?
So every so many years, we update the building codes, and these are the codes that have been finalized and ready to be updated. There's quite a few of them, ranging from the building code, mechanical, plumbing and electrical, things like that. Has everybody had an opportunity to review them? And do you want me to go through each one of them?
I think you can just say what they are. Basically, what we're doing is updating to the 2015 code. I think what were we on, Steve? We were behind quite a bit, weren't we?
Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to. Was it 2006 or
Yeah,
even?
2006 or 2007.
Yeah. So the building codes updated is the building code, mechanical, property maintenance, residential, swimming pool and spa, the existing building code, the plumbing code, and then the national electrical code.
So we can go by one, and I can assign their ordinance number.
Okay, because each one is an ordinance.
Each one of them is a separate ordinance, yep.
Okay, so did you hear that, council? We have to vote on each one because each one is an ordinance.
It's an adoption of a new ordinance or replacement of an ordinance.
So, if you've had an opportunity to look it over and you're ready to start making motions.
This is Keith.
Mhm.
Make a motion to adopt the International Building Code as shown on page 37 to 39 in the packet.
Okay,
This is Mark Berner. I second.
okay. I'm going to say all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
okay. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that motion carries 5-0.
And that ordinance number is 2233.
Okay, we'll move down to the International Mechanical Code.
May I ask a question really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything in here that is unusual changes from what they were before? I mean,
Some of the code, yeah, I can't really speak to that. James would have to, but basically it does add probably some more stricter guidelines. As codes obviously go, you get more stricter guidelines. So we haven't updated ours like since 2007, I want to say. So they're a little bit stricter, and there's more things that James will have to enforce and look for. But
Steve, as far as you could tell, was there anything that was just completely clear?
No, there's nothing that I didn't feel like is going to that would throw off a contractor or make him feel like that wasn't something that was going to be looked at. So it's not as if we're inspecting a new element. It's just the codes have changed and they've been restricted in some places and loosened in others. So,
and most of the contractors, Sharon, they have to follow this with any job they're doing, so they're aware of what the regulations are with the.
that's what I assumed, but I just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
In the past, on these international codes, we have not followed them completely. There are some areas that we haven't adopted. So in this aspect, are we now adopting everything and not doing what we've done in the past?
Well, I can tell you this, Mark, I can tell you about these codes. We've been working on these for a long time. Larry Segrist, who's not here tonight, and I was hoping he would be, can kind of give you the timeline. He actually started the process of going through these with Randy Heilman, and then James and Steve finished it up. So it's been kind of a long process to do it. So they went through and added or removed anything they didn't think was necessary or conflicting or anything like that.
Section 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of it has deletions, modifications in it that don't really apply to what we're doing here locally. We're at the City Lake.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Sharon?
It does. Thank you very much.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay, you want to go to the International Mechanical Code then? Do I hear a
So
motion?
moved. So
Okay.
moved.
All right,
Second.
okay. Ricks and Tom. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. And, not in favor say nay. Okay, motion carries.
That's 2234.
Okay, and that was 5-0. Okay. The international property maintenance from on pages 44 to 45. Do I hear a motion?
Sharon Hahn, so move.
Okay,
Second, this is Chris.
Chris, okay. And you guys can all say aye at one time. You don't have to go in order or anything. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Nay? Okay, motion carries.
2235 is the ordinance number.
Okay, the International Residence Code, pages 46 to 48. Calling for a motion.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mark.
Okay,
I'll second it. Give it to Keith.
okay, Keith,
Making me scribble out
me
here.
too. Brooks, Mr. Councilperson Brooks. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0.
That's 2236.
Okay. International Swimming Pool and Spa, pages 49 to 51. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. This is Chris.
Okay, Chris. Second?
Second, this is Sharon.
Okay, Sharon. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
2237 is the ordinance number.
Okay. Existing, the International Existing Building Code on pages 52 to 54. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Okay. Second? Anybody want a second?
Second.
This is Chris.
Okay. All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0.
That ordinance number is 2238.
Okay, the International Plumbing Code. I need a couple of more here. Anybody have a, who was that? I'm sorry.
Burner.
Burner, okay.
That cave.
And second?
I second it. Sharon.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0.
That's ordinance number 2239.
Okay. National Electric Code, pages 58 to 62. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Keith.
Okay, Keith. Second?
Second.
Okay. Mark Brooks.
So that Brooks.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Nay? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Yes.
That's ordinance number 2240.
All right. Well, we made it through those. There was a bunch of those there. Thank you. Okay, next we're ready for the CARES Act CDBG COVID grant. Nick and I talked about this grant and I asked him to get started on it. And now I'm asking you guys to approve the submission for it, for us to apply for it. There's a $90 million grant that is funded with $9 million, and we are eligible for 300,000 of it. And what it is for businesses in our town that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's basically for restocking stores, the cost to reopen, because some people have to do, you know, different things to keep in compliance for safety. And so I've been calling businesses around town, getting their information to see how much money they have lost, what their revenues they have lost, and different things. I will be keeping all that confidential, but I have got a good summation of what it's affected our businesses. It's affected them approximately 50 to 100% during the shutdown and the stay-at-home orders. And so this is something that we're working on. And at this time, you probably have all gotten it in your packet, and I'm hoping if I had some chance to read through it. There's quite a bit to do to it, but Nick has been working on it. I've been working on it a little bit, and we're trying to get it applied for. It has to be posted in the paper, published in the paper 5 days, and then it has to be.
We have to hold a public hearing. I can go through that.
Yeah, we have a. Okay, I'll let you do that next.
Okay.
Because you're working on that.
Yeah, so we have to place a public hearing notice in the paper for 5 days. The last day of that hearing doesn't count. So if you try to have it the last day that it's in the paper, it doesn't count. So it has to be the day after the last day. And you have to pass a resolution. We have to have that information in order to move forward and apply for the grant. Without a hearing, a notice in the paper or a hearing or in the pass of a resolution, you can't apply for the grant. That has to be done before you can apply. We also have to put in place a grant administrator. They gave us a list of people who do that. The city is not allowed to administer their own the grant to the businesses in town, but it will go through the city grant administrator, whoever we would assign to do that if we get funding. It's on a first come, first served basis. There's no matching piece to this. So if you get your grant in and you have good cause for why you're submitting the grant, from the email correspondence I've had with the gal that's in charge of it, you know, you're more than likely to get the grant. It's not guaranteed, but you're more than likely to get it.
Okay, do you guys have any questions about that?
Just to clarify, you mentioned about businesses losing money, and then you also mentioned about funds needed for restarting. So
Yes.
the grant goes for both, or for which one of those two?
So the grant, the way the grant works, if you have employees that you have working for you, and you have to cut their wages, or you're struggling to hire people because you don't have the funds to do that, you can use that money to pay them as long as their LMI is below 51%, their low to moderate income is below 51%. They would have to submit information, the business would, to show what their pay is and things like that, qualify them for that. The other thing it does is it helps supply up to 60 days worth of food for that restaurant or business. If it's a restaurant or if it's a business that needs inventory that doesn't have the money to buy inventory, it supplies money for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
also-
there's several different avenues too that they can apply for then.
Yes, yep.
It also,
Okay.
they also said that, like, for example, you know, the beauty shops reopened today and they've all had to buy a cake, new cakes. Every client has to have a new cake. They have to have masks. They have to have things hanging between their stations. Kind of like Saddle Rock has done. They've hung the things between their tables. It can be used to pay for that. And yeah. So that's all part of it
Well,
too.
sounds like a good deal.
Beg pardon?
Sounds like a good deal. Sounds like a good program to do.
I think it does too. I think it's something that we could use. I've written up a little thing. They're asking for, you know, what our thoughts are on it and stuff, kind of. They really don't have all of their thoughts together yet. They're still actually getting some of their thoughts together, but I think we're going to be on some of the first people, so I'm hoping that we can do that. I would suggest that we apply for the full 300,000 because after visiting with people, we can use it. You know, there's you know, the need is out there. So we might as well apply for what we can get and see what happens. Unless you all don't agree. So.
Yeah, you guys would just have to, Mayor would just need to make a motion that you guys are allowing us to apply for it and that we can place a public hearing notice in the paper. Then we'd have to set a date to have the public hearing to pass the resolution to apply for the grant.
So do I hear a motion for that or any more questions? I should ask for questions first. But any other questions or a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
Any other conversation? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to apply for the CARES Act for the CDBG COVID-19 and to publish it in the paper and hold a public hearing. All those in favor, and I'm going to go down the list this time. Mark Brooks,
Yes.
Chris Thomas,
Yes.
Sharon Hahn,
Yes.
Mark Berner,
Yes.
Keith Wessel.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. We'll cross our fingers and say our prayers and hope we get that grant. That would help our people quite a bit. I know the people that I talked to, I tried to talk to one person in each industry, and I shouldn't say industry, but each type of business. And they were all really excited to hear that we were going to try to do this for them. So we can go for it. We're ready for governing body, and I think we're going to start with Nick for
Great.
a change.
So that hailstorm we had not too long ago, we finally got some of the damage reports back from the insurance company. City vehicles had $18,000 worth of hail damage to city vehicles. I'm currently talking to Powell's Auto Body about scheduling getting dents removed from some of the vehicles that are the police cars, the city vehicles, and then some of the other ones that do have dents probably aren't worth repairing, getting the dents pulled out because they have other dents in them. So I'm working with Powell's Auto Body to schedule that stuff, get those fixed. They have done an evaluation of the buildings. I don't have the report or the cost of the damage is done. I do know over at the ball fields, you have the softball complex. It will need a new roof. They also found that there was a leak somewhere in the roof that has rotted some of the decking on it, and they're going to pay to repair that. He didn't tell me the cost or anything yet. The pavilion next to the pool will get the roof replaced. The dugouts at the Ben I. Smith, all the dugouts that have shingling would be replaced. On the new snack shack, there was no damage to the roof on it, according to them. And then the pool, there was no damage. City Hall would get a new roof. And then, I can't remember what he said about the fire station. There was some damage at the fire station. He said it wasn't a lot. And then he still has to go look at the library. He didn't look at the library when he was here. We have some skylights that were damaged out at the street department. They're gonna have to get those fixed. So once I have all that, we can talk about how we want to proceed with who does the work. I do know, and you know, we want to use local contractors and things like that. I know from dealing with my roof, they're out till, you know, they're scheduled out till October to the end of the year right now. So I do know the softball complex one needs to be fixed sooner than later, so we don't have more damage to the decking and into the wood inside the building. So.
What about the schoolhouse? Did you mention the schoolhouse? Don't we own that next to the church down there?
He didn't mention that. I'll write that.
I bet he
down.
didn't look at that
I
one.
bet he didn't look at that either. Anybody have any questions on those two items?
What about the armory?
The armory didn't have any damage.
Okay.
What about the little building in Greenwood Cemetery, the caretaker's building?
I'll have to ask if he took care of it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
do know
ours.
Over by the depot, that building that has the shingles on it next to the jailhouse and the little train, they are gonna replace the shingles on it as well.
Oh, good.
Do we need to have him check any of the parks, the stump covers?
He looked at those.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay,
he looked at those.
okay, good.
What about the water plant? Did you mention that?
The water plant didn't have any damage. It actually has a metal roof. It didn't sustain any damage.
Okay. Well, it's good and bad, but
Well,
I'm glad we're getting that.
glad
taken care
we
of.
have insurance.
Okay, do you have anything else?
I have a question, Nick.
Sure.
On those vehicles that you said were probably not warranty to fix that because of the age and so on,
Right.
are we allowed to, do we have to blanket cover all the vehicles, or are we allowed to drop comp like on a vehicle like that?
They recommend, Tim Tyner recommends that you have coverage on them, just for the simple fact of employees driving them and stuff.
Okay.
So his
Okay.
recommendation is that you do have good coverage on them. So,
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
yep. And then, Chris, this is your last meeting, so, thanks for what you've done in your short time. It's too bad you're taking up and going to Kansas City. So hopefully you stay in contact and we see you around sometime.
I will. I appreciate, Nick, everything you've done, everybody here. It's been, like you said, a short one, but I'm really blessed and lucky to work with you guys. And I think it's onward and upward for Council Grove.
Okay. That's all for you?
Yeah, and then the decision on the pool, I just want people to know it wasn't an easy decision. I know I stressed out about it. I know Justin was, I know the mayor. And I probably caused some of that stress because I was just so concerned about it, but it's not an easy decision for anybody. I think everybody would love for all the activities to be going on, the pool to be open and things to be normal, but unfortunately we're in a time where that's just not possible. So I look forward to when things do get back to a little bit normal, and hopefully July, and we can start having some activities and, people can be out and about and doing normal things again.
Yes, we hope so. You're ready. Steve Iverson, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
So I've noticed since the mowing season has kicked off that a lot of people are still blowing their grass into the gutters. And if you just put it in the newspaper to just please remind people not to do that. I mean, it really does put a lot of organic matter into our sewer system that's already, pretty old. So we really just appreciate them. Plus that grass in their own yard acts as a fertilizer. So to please stop blowing it out into the streets.
Hey, Marcus, can you put a notice in the paper for that?
Yep, got it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Steve, do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Mark Brooks?
I have a couple things. One is, have we heard anything on the League of Municipalities conference yet? They talked about that. I know it's a ways off, but are they still
They have
on
not.
track? To,
They haven't
They
released any information regarding that. They're kind of on in a hold pattern right now with everything going on. So we have not received information regarding that.
Okay. The second thing, I've spent some evenings fishing out at our city lake, and I knew that our lake leaseholders were pumping some water out of the lake for their own personal use, but I was completely shocked the amount of pumps that I'm seeing permanently installed pumping water out of the lake to water their lawn. I personally would love to have some water to water my lawns, and I think a lot of our citizens here in town would like to have free water to do that. I really think we need to address this.
Well, Mark, I am going to call for for my lake committee to meet here in the next week or so. So can we talk about that, make some recommendation at that time?
Yeah, that needs to be done right away because we're responsible and we will be fined for them pumping water out, not the tenants. The landowners will be fined for that water being taken.
Well, and there's a piece in the lease that says if they're going to pump water from the lake, they're supposed to get permission from the city in order to. We've talked about this before since I've been here, because I made a suggestion to charge them a raw water fee in order to pull water from the lake to water their yards. And at that time, we didn't take any action on it or do anything with it. But that'd be kind of my recommendation is that they have to make sure that they're pumping water from the lake and they have to pay a raw water fee. And if they get caught, they get fined.
Well, they can't just, we don't have the authority to give them permission to pump water out of that lake.
Like I said, it's true.
You know, they have to have a permit to do that.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
why
don't you, Steve, can you provide some information on that? Because that's not the way I understood it under the former city attorney. So I'd be interested to see that. Not saying that you're wrong. I'm sure you're right, but I just like to have the information.
Well, I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I say we don't have the authority to give permission to anybody to pump water out out of that lake. We have to obtain our own permits, and then we have to stay within our permits to pump water. If we had a system set up so that tenants could go and get water from a gathering point that we have set up and are monitoring, that's one thing. But we can't give permission to individuals to pull water out of that lake. They would need a water permit from the Kansas Department of Agriculture Water Resources Department.
We need to talk about this later.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
In the past, when I first got on the council a lot of years ago, this came up and there was some isolated cases where they would in the evenings drop a pump in there, but they're not trying to hide it now. I mean, these are big pumps secured to concrete pads, and they're all over the lake. I mean, they're everywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think we need to have a lake committee meeting. So let's do that this next week. I know it's Memorial Week. Well,
let's wait. I'd wait till June 1, and then we can get a bunch of us together. It'd be the 45. That's only a week and a half for it.
So you don't think what Steve's saying that we need to expedite?
I want to look at some information.
Okay. Well, and Steve, if you could get some information on that, we will date and get that done. So we can.
And while you're talking on the lake committee, I'd like to stir this back up again about the camping spots that we have been trying to get done out there for 10 years plus. You know, that lake belongs to the citizens of Council Grove, and they can hardly use it. I mean, we should have more opportunities for citizens to use that lake. And the final thing I will say to Councilman Thomas, Chris, Russ, my family and your family go back a long ways, and I hate to see you go, but I wish you all the luck, buddy.
Thank you for that, sir.
Okay. Sharon?
Well, just a couple of things. First of all, Chris, best wishes to you and your family. We hate to see you go. We were excited to have you here, and but best of luck to you there in Kansas City. And
Thank you.
secondly, I would just like to put a plea. Everybody, please put your mask on. It's important that we wear these masks. And I see so many people around town that are not willing to do it. And, you know, when I put a mask on, I'm protecting you. I'm as much more than I'm protecting myself. And so I'm just making a public plea, and I'm going to stay on that mountain for a little while.
I appreciate that. Anything else, Sharon?
That's all. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Mark Berner?
Chris, it's been a pleasure serving with you on the council, and I hope we can continue our friendship. Good luck to you.
Thanks, sir.
Nothing else for me.
Okay. Keith Wessel?
I echo the same, Chris. I wish you and your family the very best in the city, and thank you for your service. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's all I got, Mayor.
Okay. I think that leaves me. I have a couple quick things. I have, as I said, I would like to have a lake meeting as soon as we can with our lake committee to discuss a couple of things. And got a little list started here, so we'll work on that. And then I received several messages about the storm sirens not going off last week on Thursday evening when we had the tornado south of town. The way I understand it, the danger wasn't imminent to us, so that's why it didn't go off. But we're not really the ones that make that decision. That is made by the Weather Service. Is that correct?
Is made by emergency management, which is Chris Blackledge and that emergency management group. They monitor the storms. They have the same information the weather sites do, and they monitor the storms and make a decision if it's an imminent threat to Council Grove. They will sound the sirens.
I know there's several people are upset because they feel like, you know, the people in the nursing homes and the hospitals need to have that information soon so they can move their people to safety, but that doesn't really fall on the city. So
it's through emergency management.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make that clear. I've also had some comments on the yellow signs that are downtown, the new yellow signs that are street crossing, and that is all done by KDOT because those are state highways. I've told those citizens to get in touch with KDOT if they could, because we don't have any authority over that. So, you know, that's one of the things. And then I'm going to reiterate what everybody else is saying, Chris. We don't want to see you leave, but we hope, you know, we wish the best for you. We hope everything goes well. And hopefully you'll be back to see us and come back and spend some time.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you. Do you have any?
No, I appreciate all the kind words. I left probably like a lot. I left in 1990 and was never going to come back. All right. I was an 18-year-old kid and then realized what a little gem Council Grove is. And 4.5 years here raising kids. It's been wonderful. I would make the joke that it's not the first time I've left town running from the law. It's the second, but you never know what's going to get in the paper or get out. But in all seriousness, we'll be back close to the airport for work. We've sold our house here and in the midst of buying up there. So we've got a quick, probably 30-day turnaround. But seriously, I
If you guys ever need anything, let me know. We will absolutely be back, and glad to work with all of
Well, we all love you. Take care, okay?
you. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, if nobody has anything else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Nay, those opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you all.